are harmful to man and his surrounding. By who? But with advent of increase in the indoor air pollution, the definition has changed. Before we always used to tell that outdoor air was always a problem and there is pollution. But nowadays, the deterioration of the atmosphere, indoor air also, it is getting polluted. You must have heard there are air purifiers coming for home. Okay, if you will use it, then it will absorb the pollutants from the air and give you a fresh air. Okay, so air pollution is contamination of the indoor or outdoor environment by any chemical, physical or biological agents that modifies the natural characteristics of the atmosphere. Okay, so nowadays the chemicals, the things we use in our household also causes pollution of the indoor environment, like the mosquito coils. We are using mosquito repellent, the paints which we are using nowadays. So all these come under they cause pollution. Okay, so nowadays also indoor air is getting polluted. So accordingly, the definition of the air pollution has also changed. Then air quality depends on the pollution level of the air and is especially important in terms of health perspective of all the living creatures. Obviously, because we cannot live longer without air. So obviously, air quality is important for us to have a healthy life. Then comes to water pollution. As we know, when you're adding anything which is not required or unnatural to the water, then we call it as a water pollution. Okay. So 99 of water pollution is defined as such contaminations of water or such alteration of physical, chemical or biological properties of water or such discharges of any sewage or trade effluents or any of which other liquid, gaseous or solid substances into water, whether directly, indirectly, any way, or is likely to create a nuisance or render such water harmful or injurious to public health or safety. Okay, or domestic, commercial, industrial, agricultural, or other legislative use, then we call it as a water pollution. Okay. Then water pollutants are physical, chemical, biological. Yesterday I have already discussed all these things. Okay, I don't need to discuss. Then comes the soil pollution. We know that the top part of the lithosphere, we call it as the soil, is very important for us because it gives, it supports plants which are the provider of food indirectly or indirectly for us, and along with it, they also give us rainfall because due to transpiration, this water evaporates from these plants, which forms the cloud and creates rain. Okay, I'm not telling that only if there will be plant there will be rain, but plants actually help in rain formation. Okay, without plants there will be rain, but these plants increases the chances of rain. So decrease in the soil quality due to nature or anthropogenic contamination is defined as soil pollution. Soil pollutants are the physical, biological, chemical, airborne agents which degrades the quality of the soil. Okay. Then comes to noise pollution, a state of discomfort or restlessness caused to human unwanted high intensity sound. Yesterday I have already discussed this also. Now Durga Puja is coming. You'll see loudspeakers everywhere. So these loudspeakers are seriously irritation for old age peoples and small children. Okay, so these are all causes of sound pollution. We call these type of sounds as pollution, and these are the sound pollution. So many times we see people driving bikes with the silencer not working properly. That is also a part of a sound pollution because it irritates. Okay, so any sound which is irritating you, we call it as a sound pollution. Urban population, rural population, industrial pollution, and radiation pollution. These are all comes under the sound pollution, different types. Okay. Uh, just a second. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, so these are the different types of pollutants. Okay, for the sound. Then in rural areas, ambient air pollution is less, but indoor air pollution get polluted chiefly due to burning of biomass-based fuels. But in rural areas can also become polluted due to solid waste dumping, indiscriminated use of pesticides and fertilizer, and runoff and leaches of these chemicals will lead to water pollution. So different, if you see different areas, they have different types of sources and problem to face. Okay. Then industrial pollutants can be defined as the contaminants of the environment by a business, particularly factories that dump waste. Yesterday already I have discussed how these industries do not follow a particular rule. Okay. And they lead to the pollution of the environment. Then radiation pollution is a pollution from any form of ionization or non-ionization that results in the for human activities. Radiation can be natural or due to human activities. Human activities like nuclear power plants, dumping of radioactive waste, and nuclear explosion. All these are the sources of radiation. Okay. So based on the source or genesis, pollution can be of the following types. First is natural pollutant. Yesterday also I have told you. Natural pollutant are which are caused by the nature, like volcanic eruption. Okay. Emission of sulfur dioxide, methane emission from wetlands, and release of arsenic from rocks in groundwater, etc. They're natural, and man-made is a pollution which we are creating. Okay, due to our human activities or anthropogenic activities. For example, smoke, gas coming out of industries and vehicles, release of toxic chemicals from industries into water bodies, etc. Okay. Then we can say there are pollution on the basis of the state. Uh, Based on that, again it is of three types: solid pollutants, liquid pollutants, and gaseous pollutants. Solid pollutants are asbestos, sludge, metal waste. Asbestos are very dangerous because they are very small particles. If they are present in the air, then they can easily get inhaled by our nose and enter into our what we will say lungs. There they can cause problem to the lungs. Okay, because asbestos being very small in size, what they do, they choke the alveoli of the lungs. Okay, these are the air sacs or sponges which absorb air for us, and so they are very porous. So if this asbestos enter into your lungs, what it will do, it will go and insert into those pores and block them, and then you will feel suffocated, or you can also suffer from asthma and any such disease, which is also happens when people smoke cigarettes. Okay, the smoke contains small carbon particles which are very small in diameter, and when you are smoking, it enters into your lungs, and lungs get choked by these carbon particles, due to which your porosity of your lungs goes and decreases. Okay. Then liquid pollutants like oil slicks, fluorides, dissolved solids, etc. Okay. These are the liquid pollutants which when added to liquid or soil causes pollution. Okay. Oil slicks are the leakage of the oil from where refineries or from where the oil is naturally obtained. Then gaseous pollutants mainly is carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxide, carbon monoxide, etc. Carbon dioxide, we all know, it is a greenhouse gas, which is a very hype topic now. It is causing greenhouse effect or global warming. This greenhouse effect, that is global warming, and this global warming is leading to the global climate change, which is the biggest concern for us nowadays. And carbon monoxide and nitrogen oxide, they are always harmful because carbon monoxide can also destroy the ozone layer. Okay, and also can cause acid rain. And nitrous oxide is the same way. It is also a greenhouse gas and can cause acid rain. Then pollution may also be divided based on area polluted: air pollution, particulate matter, gases, smokes, etc. Water pollution, pesticides, metals, suspended solid, etc. soil pollutants, chemical fertilizers, garbage, radioactive waste, etc. So based on location, the pollution can be classified as point source and non-point source. So point source is when the pollution come out from a specific location or source which are visible. If we can see the pollution coming out, then we call it as a, for example, stack of factories, sewage discharge drain, etc. As they are always visible, hence are easily identifiable and manageable. Then non-point source. In solution coming out from various sources which are specific source are termed pollutant coming out from various sources without any specific source are termed as non-point source. For example, pesticide and fertilizer runoff from the agricultural field. See, we are applying fertilizer and pesticides to the field. Okay, but if when water is running through that field, if that water with it takes the pesticides into the nearest water bodies, then it is a non-point source. We never applied the pesticide or the fertilizer into the water body. We applied in the nearby field. But due to runoff, it has entered into the nearest water field, nearest water body. So this is a non-point source. So it is very difficult to know actually which is the non-point source and how many non-point sources are there for the pollution. Because point source, it is directly visible to you, you can take action. But non-point source, it is difficult to first identify actually where the sources are and which are the sources and how to combat them. The runoff can be lateral, known as surface runoff, or can be vertical or downward through percolation or pollution in the groundwater. So it can go down into the groundwater also and pollute it, or it can go run up and go to the nearest water body and pollute it. Rural non-point source pollutions are mainly due to agriculture activities, for example, pesticide, fertilizer, insecticide, etc. Whereas urban non-point source are come out from residential complexes, small-scale industries, and large-scale industries. Several point and non-point source are depicted here. Then primary and secondary pollution. Primary pollutions are directly emitted into the environment in potential harmful form, for example, nitrous oxide, arsenic, cadmium, lead, radon gas, etc. Okay. Secondary pollution is a product of one or two primary pollutants. They are not directly emitted from the pollution source. Classical example is formation of tropogenic ozone and photochemical smog. Okay. These are not direct pollutants, but when these two things mix together, they form your smog, which is a secondary pollutant. When the pollution itself is directly not released from the source, but what it happens, it is being created from a non-point, from a primary pollutant source. In troposphere, carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxides are precursors of ozone formation. The reaction are as follows. Carbon monoxide plus OH gives CO2 plus H, H plus O2 gives H2O, H2O plus NO gives OH plus NO2, NO2 plus sunlight gives NO plus O, O plus O2 gives O3. This is how ozone is formed. The troposphere ozone is formed due to reaction of primary pollutants like carbon monoxide and nitrogen dioxide is not present in natural in the troposphere. The ground level or tropogenic ozone is harmful for plant and animals, whereas stratospheric ozone is extremely helpful as they absorb harmful UV rays. See, ozone, when it is in the lower layer, it is harmful to us. But ozone, when it is in higher layers, it is good for us. Because there, what it will do, it will save us from the harmful rays. But when it is in the lower atmosphere, okay, it will help you difficulty in breathing, okay, and all these problems will be created. So it is bad for us. So see, ozone, you can say, is a two-sword thing, okay. When it is in higher atmosphere, it is good for us. When it is in lower atmosphere, then it is bad for us. This is an example of some point source. This is how liquid coming out from a drainage pipe. Okay, this is how non-point source. See, here this is the agricultural field, okay, and this is your water source. So water from this field is entering this water source. So all the pesticides and that your fertilizers will run off from this field and enter into this source. And if this source water is used by the nearby people, then they will all get contaminated by this pollutant. So this is a non-point source. See, this is point source, industry, but non-point source is resident, agriculture, saturation water table, then public parking. From all these little waste also enters into your river. So these are various examples of point source and non-point source. Are you clear what is point source and non-point source? Hello?
Sir, once again, please.
See, point source is when the pollution, you can see it is directly entering the natural bodies. We call it as a point source. Non-point source is the pollutant is applied somewhere else, but due to natural activity or human activity, they have reached a place where they should not reach. Okay, for example, the pesticides and your fertilizers, they were applied in the field for agriculture. But when the water is running from that field to the nearest water body, it will take with it the pesticides and the fertilizer, and it will pollute the water body. This is called as non-point source. And if that pesticide also seeps down to the groundwater, it will pollute the groundwater. Okay, so we did not directly added these pesticides and fertilizers to the groundwater or nearby sources of water bodies, but they got accidentally, they got polluted. So we call them as non-point source. The point is not known. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then types of air pollutants. Broadly, air pollutants can be classified as primary and secondary. Whereas there is point and non-point, here also it is primary and secondary. Primary are those which are directly emitted, and secondary those which are formed due to reaction. Okay, are primary air pollutants. Then types of water pollution. Several types of water pollution, they can be classified in the following classes: organic pollutants, which are coming from organic material; inorganic, which are coming from inorganic material; suspended solids and sediments. These are the substances which do not get settled easily in the water. Then pathogens, then thermal pollutants, and radioactive pollutants. All these are the types of water pollutants. So organic pollutants mainly consist of organic waste, which diminishes the dissolved oxygen. Last class also yesterday I told you. Okay, these are the substances which is present in the water. What they will do? They will decrease the dissolved oxygen content, due to which if the oxygen content decreases, then it will become hard for the aquatic animals to survive in the water. Okay. So wastewater from the food processing industries, municipal and domestic sewage, etc. Usually organic waste from these sources are biodegradable, but synthetic, non-biodegradable organic waste like synthetic fibers, plastics, solvents, and volatile organic compounds are all important inorganic pollutants. These pollutants persist in water bodies and are extremely harmful for aquatic organisms. Oil is another organic pollutant which can severely affect the water quality. So you are clear what are organic pollutants in water?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then inorganic pollutants are like metals, several salts, minerals, nutrients, suspended solids, dissolved solids constitute the inorganic pollutants. They are severely affect the water chemistry and quality. Obviously, when a chemical is added, obviously the quality and chemistry of that substance will be changed. When suspended solids and sediments are generated from the erosion of the soil mainly, They consist of clay, silt, and sand particles. So these are the particles which do not settle down. Okay, they increase the turbidity of the water, means that water will no more be clear. Okay, it will become hazy, and hence affects the light penetration. So when the water becomes hazy, the sunlight cannot penetrate. And we know many water bodies which are not very deep. Okay, they have what you can say submerged plant, submerged plant in the base. Okay, and these submerged plants, they need light for photosynthesis. So if these suspended particles increases, then what will happen is the photosynthesis rate will be affected. And if the turbidity remains becomes more and remains longer, then what will happen? The plant or can also die because it will not be able to do photosynthesis and it will do die. Okay, these pollutants destroy the ecosystem. Then the pathogens can be bacteria or viruses. Microorganisms come into water bodies through sewage discharges as a major source of form of slaughterhouses. Pathogens can cause waterborne disease such as cholera, typhoid, dysentery, polio, and infected hepatitis in humans. So all these are waterborne disease. Thermal pollutants are hot water discharges from thermal power plants, nuclear power plants, or industries where water is used as a coolant. Thermal pollution changes the water body temperature and hence affects the DO content. So this is how they affect the content, dissolved oxygen content. Then radioactive pollutants are radioactive substances discharges from the medical, agricultural, nuclear industries and are mostly carcinogenic. Okay, so these nuclear waste have a lot of radiation. Okay, and due to having radiation, they are carcinogenic to anybody who is exposed to it. Okay, so they can be used as a carcinogen. Okay, so understood what are different types of water pollution?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then types of soil pollutants. Soil can be polluted due to release of pollutants deliberately or by accident. Accidental release from transport or storage of toxic chemicals. Mining and foundry activities release pollutants which contaminate soil. Apart from the agricultural activity, solid waste and hazardous waste dumping, leachate from landfill sites are potential soil pollutants. Airborne deposits can also be potential soil pollution. So these are the various sources. Last class also I had discussed. This ends your unit 1. Then classification of sources. Natural source, anthropogenic source, we have already discussed this. I will not discuss it again. A table as given. So here they have given sources of primary pollutants. Okay, combustion processes, chemical processes, nuclear processes, volcano, breaking of seas, pollen tolerance, fire, all these. Here total stationary sources and mobile sources. Pond is stationary, area is stationary, Then mobile sources is line sources. So these are the sources of uh, sources inventor of the air pollution source, NPTEL. They have given what are the different sources. Okay, highway vehicles, railroads, locomotives, channel vessels, residential heating. Okay, then coal, oil, gas, institutions, industrial processes, power plant, fuel combinations. All these come under the sources inventory of air pollution sources. Here also, point and non-point source, it is same as I have discussed in water. Okay. Same is with the soil pollution, non-point source and point source, excessive fertilizers, oil, grease. Then concept of standard and guidelines. Actually, every government, okay, and the people which see how the world will work properly, okay, what they have done, they have set up guidelines and standards so that we can check the pollution. Okay. So in pollution definitions, concentration words was important as above. Such concentration of substances they become pollution. So these values are determining by the observing those response relationship and then finding. So these values are determined by observing those responses relationship and then find the threshold value above which the concentration of the pollution becomes harmful. So as I told you, there are limits have been set, okay, on which basis we can say after this limit it becomes harmful or after this it becomes it up to this limit it is safe, okay, it is acceptable. Okay. So these are all guidelines on standards. So, like one such body is Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change (MOEF) and CC India. The standards for annual nitrogen dioxide is ambient air is 40 microgram per meter cube for residents, industries and rural areas of the India. Any industry releasing in nitrogen dioxide above this concentration can be legally penalized. Okay, but the problem is no such industry is penalized, and they keep on producing high amounts. So you cannot emit such a higher if you, concentration. If you are emitting, then you will be have to be punished. You will be punished. But the problem in India is nobody is punished if you have money. Same way in India, Bureau of Indian Standards and MOEF and FCC and Central Pollution Board Control Board are the main nodal agents for the developing standard for pollution. Whereas guidelines and guiding documents based on which national standards can be made. They are not country specific. They are not country specific and legislative. For example, WHO provides guidelines for wastewater and or air pollution. Okay, so these organizations set up standards. The role of source transport receptors or STR systems in pollution studies. Air pollution systems can have been Air pollution systems has three basic components: source, transport, and receptors. Source, transport, and receptors. The source identification and inventor is extremely important. So source identified can be given an idea about the release rate of the pollution. Point source can easily be identified, but non-point source investigation is difficult, but can be done with proper inventor plan. This I have already told before. Point source of any solution can be easily known because it is appearing in front of your eyes, but non-point source, you never know how many non-point sources are there for that pollution. Okay, you can never know how many non-point sources are present for the same position. That is why, but it can also be nowadays. It can also be done. Okay. So once the pollution is released in the air, water, or soil, they are transmitted through the medium. In air, the dispersion of pollution. So once the pollution is released in air, water, or soil, they are transported through the medium. In air, the distance of the pollution depends on the meteorological parameters such as wind speed, wind. So, whereas in water, transport depends on velocity, temperature, etc. In soil, also lateral and downward movement both way by the pollutants can be transported. Once the pollutants are in the medium, monitoring of several parameters affect the transport of the pollutant. So once the pollution reaches the source, there are many factors which will affect how that pollutant will be distributed in the atmosphere. Okay. So finally, the main aim of any pollution management practice is to protect the receptor, which can the which can be ecosystem, human, plant, property, and economy. For this purpose, control techniques to reduce the concentration of pollution are designed after understanding the nature of the plants. Nature of pollutants, environmental modeling can relate the three components STR and can predict the situation, how the emit procedure. So once they are released, then how we can check them. Just give me a minute, okay? I'm coming back. So if we'll add up everything, so from pollution control to management, basic knowledge of the pollutions, pollutants are pollutants are necessary. There are three main types of pollution. Okay, what are their sources? How they are causing problem to us? Okay, all these are over. Okay, and there are some questions to check how you have progressed. We can practice. These are some reference books which you can, if you want to refer. Okay, like first one is a very good book. I have all myself read it. Environmental Engineering by Macro Hills. Okay, then Fundamental of Environmental Chemistry. Okay, Bocarad and Taylor and Francis is also a good book, and Principle of Environmental Sampling, that is also a good book. You can follow any such three books. I think so. You can get PDF of these books also online. Then we'll come to air quality and its impact. Okay. We know that air is essential for life because without respiration, air, living beings cannot survive. So controlling air pollution is a challenge to environmental scientists and engineers. So moreover, pure air does not come in packet or bottles as alternative source like drinking water. But maybe in future, we will be getting bottles of packed air. The rate at which the atmosphere is degrading, maybe we have to buy air every day to go outside. Okay, so hence polluted air one breathes has direct consequence on health and due to its very destructive nature, very difficult to control. Okay, so as it is very light in and so it is very hard to control air. Okay, so after industrialization, the composition of natural atmosphere has been changed chiefly due to anthropogenic activity. Day by day, pollution load is increasing and so are the challenges. So every day the pollution load on the air is increasing. Okay, and so the challenges also. Air and air pollutants are purely transboundaries in nature. They can travel to great distances. However, dispersion of air pollutant is dependent upon the meteorological conditions like wind speed, wind direction, humidity, rainfall, and on stack height and existing gas temperature. So all these factors depend on how the pollutant, how till how much it can travel, and what is the distance it will travel. Elevated concentration of air pollutants has direct effect not only on human health but also on plants, animals, ecosystem as well as building material. So apart from engineering controls, several legal control measures as well as standards have been implemented to combat air pollution. And there are several measures taken to combat the ambient air pollution, but still indoor air pollution control is a major challenge. Okay, so these are the objectives of this unit. So, and what we will learn. So first is the sources of air pollution. Based on our origin, can be divide natural and anthropogenic. I am not telling it again. Okay, because I have already discussed it. Okay. Here one point is there significant amount of world airborne black carbon originates from China and India. Countries such as many European nations that depend on diesel powered vehicles for transport also add a substantial quantity of black carbon in atmosphere. Okay, so because these are the carbon which is emitted from our vehicles. Okay, moreover, industrial emission of volatile organic gaseous air pollutants, particulate matters are the matter of concern. Day by day, the number of vehicles are also increasing on Earth's surface, and the collective emission by all the road, air, and water vehicles are most significantly contributor for air pollution. Inventory-wise, air pollutant source classification is mentioned in the unit. We'll see while we will see. We have already seen, I think so, inventory-wise air pollutant sources. So these are the sources we have already discussed. Natural sources, which includes volcanoes, Volcanism means eruption of volcanoes, forest fires, natural hot spring or geysers from which gases comes out from the earth core, salt spray from the ocean. Okay. Then deflation of sand and dust by wind, natural and organic and inorganic decay products, vegetable decay, gaseous from wastelands, cosmic dust, soil debris, pollen grains, fungal spores, and phytochemical reactions leading to the secondary pollution. So these are all natural sources. Man-made sources are burning of fossil fuel, which we are doing to run our vehicles. Vehicular emissions, domestic burning of wood, agricultural waste burning, industrial emissions, waste treatment plants, incineration of solid waste, wars and nuclear tests. These are all man-made sources of air pollution. So these are the anthropogenic sources of air pollution: boilers, power plants, incineration of municipal waste, incineration from industrial processes, diesel generators, agricultural waste, burning fossil fuel run vehicles. Okay, activities combustion and pollution emitted. What are the pollutant emitted? Oxides of sulfur and nitrogen, carbon monoxide, fly ash, trace metal oxide, particulate matter, volatile and non-volatile organic hydrocarbons, and black carbon. These are the sources. This is how, due to which activity it is produced, and these are the pollutant which is emitted. Then metal handling, sintering, caulking, furnace, crushing, cement glass refractors, smelting, refining, ceramic manufacturing, and coal cleaning. Roasting and heating. By the roasting and heating of this product, we get dust, smoke, metal fumes, odor, oxides of sulfur and nitrogen, carbon monoxide, hydrogen sulfide, and particulate matter. Then comes the boilers, heaters, catalytic regenerators, flares, recreators, storage tanks, and compressor engines. These are petroleum refining, means these are mainly used in refining of petroleum products. Aldehyde, ammonium powder, oxides of sulfur and nitrogen, carbon monoxide, and volatile organics. Okay, these are all what are coming out. Sulfuric acid plant, fertilizer manufacturing, nitric acid and ammonium plant, phosphoric acid processing. So these are all inorganic chemical processing industries, and they produce oxides of sulfur and nitrogen, hydrogen sulfide, ammonium hydrogen sulfide, hydrogen fluoride, phosphoric acid fumes, which are all the pollutants produced from these industries. Then plastic processing, paint and varnish manufacturing, rubber, synthetic rubber, rayon, insecticide, soap and detergent manufacturing, methanol, phenol, etc. These are all organic chemicals. Particulate matters, odor, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, organic intermediates, and vapor and solvent vapor. These are the pollutants which are being emitted. Then oxidative towers, evaporators, digesters, and furnaces. Pulp and paper processing, methyl mercaptan, dimethyl sulfide, particulate matter, then sulfur dioxide, dioxin and furan. Then preservating and dry packaging, food processing, odor, dust and vapor. Spraying and dusting of insecticide and pesticide, burning of refuses, agricultural activity. Okay, so is it clear what are the things by which process these pollutants get added to the atmosphere?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So once we know the source, now we can take precautionary measure how to mitigate the source or to control them. But source of fugitive emissions are very difficult to identify for control. So Environmental Protection Agency USA defines fugitive emission as unintended emission for facilities or activities. Example, construction that could not reasonably pass through a stack, chimney, vent, or other functional equivalent opening. Example of fugitive release includes losses from the pipe work or wind blow dust from stockpiles. Occasionally, these emissions can be of significance at the local level. Okay, so these are called as fugitive source, the source which we did not intend it, but are there, like while we are doing a construction. Okay, no matter what we do, the construction while constructing the things, the asbestos, the cement, they will get added up in the environment. That is why we call it fugitive or hidden sources. Street dust from paved and unpaved rocks, building construction, demolition activity, dust generated from loading or unloading of goods, spraying and plugging in agriculture, leaf burning, cigarette smoke, material handling and storage, leakage are all possible source of fugitive source. So these are the sources which are fugitive. They are hidden. Okay, now directly cannot be seen. These emissions are all non-point in nature. Obviously, any fugitive source is non-point source because cannot directly see it. The main concern with the fugitive emission is it is very difficult to quantify and regulations are poor. So if these emissions are in the nose level of human and emits from large country, large number of small sources, then it becomes a large source and becomes a matter of high concern. So if a pollutant is produced in small quantities from many places, then also it becomes a huge problem. Because when it is produced from many places, though it is in small quantity, but it will become a big source. Because once they are released, they'll all get what summed up to a single type of so they'll all get summed up and form a bigger source. So if these emissions are in nose level of human and emitted from large number of small sources, then become a large source and become matter of icon. These emissions can be avoided by good housekeeping, proper maintenance or leakage of valves and dust, by enclosing the area of construction by spraying water and providing windbreaks and shelter belts with trees. Okay, these are the precautions which we can take to reduce our fugitive source. So airborne small solids or liquid droplets are commonly known as particulate, and these usually remain suspended in the air for a significant period depending on their size, or they are often called as suspended particle matter. We all have gone through corona, right? Yes
Yes,
or
sir.
no?
Yes,
During
sir.
corona there was a lockdown. Why it was the
Yes.
lockdown was there?
Due to spreading of virus.
Exploding.
Spread.
Yeah, spreading of virus. Okay, how the virus was spreading?
Sir, when a person come in contact with the infected person, that is spreading the
How?
virus.
Means if the person will touch you, you will get corona. Or
No, no,
how?
not like that.
Then
That is in air contact.
Means if a person is having corona, will come in contact with that air, will get corona.
No, no. We
Then,
are, suppose we are sitting in front of that person,
uh, yes,
and by any means we come in contact with his sneezing or like that things
yes,
happen.
that's the point. Sneezing. When a person sneezes, what it happens? Many droplets of water comes from our mouth and nose.
Yes,
Actually, I told it because of the suspended things which I am saying, and it will remain suspended in the air. So when a new person will go by that way, it will inhale that air, and with that air, these suspended particles of liquid droplets having coronavirus, because that person has sneezed, and when he has sneezed, those droplets having the virus are in the air. Okay,
that
and you will
enters
take
into
that air
the
that enters the
healthy
healthy
person.
person, and he or she will get infected. That is
Yes,
why
sir.
there was lockdown, so that if anyone sneezes, he or she will sneeze at home,
Yes,
and it will not spread.
yes,
For
sir.
example, if a person is having corona and sneezes in a very crowded place, then it will infect many people.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it will
In
infect many people. That is why how suspended materials also enter our system and causes health risks to us, like the corona. As I was telling about these suspended materials, that is why I asked about corona. Okay, because we all have experienced it.
yes, sir. That's why the person are keeping isolated, the infected
Isolated,
person.
oh yes, till they get cured, they are kept isolated because you cannot control your sleep. That is why
Yes,
we are
sir.
told to wear mask.
Yes,
Okay,
so that the
because yeah, the
virus
droplet,
cannot
if it is there, also it will not enter, because actually the suspended particles are big, so big it cannot penetrate a cloth mask also. That is why mask can be used.
yes, sir.
But particulate matter of 10 micron and 2 micron, these particle matter can always enter through this mask.
Yes, sir.
Okay, they are very small. For these specialized masks are there.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
is someone mic open? I was hearing sound in the background. Okay. So enters the human body and cause significant health effects. As I've told before also, these particles, when you will enter your body, they will straight go to the lungs, and in the lungs, the alveoli, they will clog it. Okay. The particulate matters can be inhaled fractions that in the mass fraction of total airborne particles. Okay, just give me a minute. Sorry, there was a power cut due to which I got disconnected. Am I audible now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Actually, there was a small power cut, and I was using the Wi-Fi of my home, so I got disconnected. 977. So that's what I was telling about these suspended particles, okay, and how they are dangerous for us. Okay. Then extrathonic fractions in the mass fractions of the inhaled particles fail to penetrate beyond larynx, but thorax fractions in these masses fractions of inhaled particles penetrate beyond larynx, and respiratory effects and mass fraction and inhaled particle penetrate to uncleared airways, and they will enter your lungs where they will cause the clogging of the lungs. Okay. A suspension of fine size range from 1 to 100 micron liquid or solid particles are all termed as aerosols. Aerosols means like droplets, as I told you during sneezing, the droplets we form. Same way, the size of the particle refers to the aerodynamic diameters of the particles. These aerosols can be classified depending on the size of the particles, and the classification is as follows: dust generated due to combustion, aberration, evaporation, grinding or crushing operations. Size of the dust particle ranges from 1 to 200 micron. Then smoke. Smoke is generated from combustion or other chemical processes. They may be different color depending upon the nature of the material burnt. The size of the smoke particle ranging from 0.01 to 1 micron. Then fume. These are the solid particles suspended in air and at the size range of 0.1 to 1 micron. They are generated due to chemical and metallurgical processes. Then mist. These are liquid droplets suspended in the atmosphere with less than 10 micron size. Mist appears due to the condensation of liquid released from the industrial operations. Presence of mist obscure vision and reduce visibility. Then fog. It is a mist where the droplets are of water. It is sufficient dense to obscure vision. Mostly they are in 1 to 5 micron range. So this is the overall distribution. It has given up all the different types of particles, okay, found in air, okay, and according to their size, okay. Usually, particulate matter of size 0.001 to 1 micron is termed as fine particles, and 1 to 10 micron as medium, and 10 to 100 are large particles. So particles and aerosols above 1 micron size have measurable settling velocity, whereas particles size 0.1 to 1 micron have very small settling velocity and remain suspended in the air for a long time. Particularly having less than 0.1 micron size are always in random. So Brownian motion. Do you know what is a Brownian motion? Anybody? Anybody know what is a Brownian motion?
Yes,
Hello?
sir, but now it is not remembered.
Okay. See, have you any of you seen dust movement of dust particles when the light is falling through a skylight?
Yes, sir.
Yes, that movement exactly. If you see the movement, the dust particles move randomly in any direction. That type of movement is called as Brownian motion. Okay, and they will never settle. These dust particles, they will never settle because their density is almost equivalent to the air. So they will never settle down, and they will be keep moving randomly in all directions. Okay, and this type of motion is called as Brownian motion. The source and size distribution of the different particles matter. Okay, that I have already shown in that figure. Then gaseous pollutants. Most common gaseous air pollutions are sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, hydrogen sulfide, carbon monoxide, hydrogen cyanide, ammonia, etc. And source of these effects are given in the details. Okay, we'll discuss them. Apart from the above types, according to US Environmental Protection Agency, US EPA, we call it as Six of the most common air pollutants, namely carbon monoxide, lead, ground level ozone, particulate matter, nitrogen dioxide, and sulfur dioxide, are known as critical air pollutants. These pollutants have numerous sources of emission and usually are present in high amount in the ambient air. So periodically, the possible health impact on public health of these pollutants are evaluated. For these pollutants, the national ambient air quality standards are essential. Hazardous or toxic air pollutants are air toxins are these pollutants that are known as assumed or cause cancer or other grave health disease, such as effect on reproductive system or birth defect or adverse environmental effect. So we call them as hazardous toxic material which can cause cancer or any hazardous health effect. Okay. According to EPA, toxic air pollutants list there are 187 pollutants identified to be toxic. Example of toxic air pollution include benzene, mostly present in the gasoline, uh, perchloroethylene, uh, perchloroethylene emitted from the dry cleaners, methyl chloride used as a solvent in chemical industry and as paint scrapers, dioxin and furans in the industries using chlorine or chlorinated compounds in process, asbestos, toluene. Okay, just give me a minute. I'm coming. So the table here shows the pollutant, source, and effect. Okay, the first pollutant is sulfur dioxide. The main sources are coals and oil, fuel combustion, chemical and metallurgical industries. Okay, and effect are on affects our mucous membrane, bronchitis and lungs, plant bleaching, necrosis, and skeleton size leaves means the leaves will become thinner and skeleton like. And properties are acid rain, surface damage, and leaching. These are what the damages done by your sulfur dioxide. Then nitrogen dioxide, vehicles, combustion at industries and chemical industries. Okay, and the effect are eye and nasal irritation, pulmonary problems. Okay, and in plants, suppressive growth and leaf collapse. Then hydrogen sulfide mainly comes from petrol refinery, chemical industries, bituminous fuels, okay, cause nausea, eyes and throat irritation, odor nausea, darkening of surface and discoloration. Then carbon monoxide, combustion of coal and gasoline, affected CNS and heart. Okay. Uh, Combustion, then TPP, automobiles, refuses, then chemical metal. All these are the sources of carbon monoxide and reduces oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. We all know that when carbon monoxide is inhaled by us, what it happens, it reacts with the hemoglobin to form a carbaminohemoglobin. Okay, actually our hemoglobin, when reacts with oxygen, gives carboxyhemoglobin, which helps in carrying oxygen. But our hemoglobin has a more affinity towards carbon monoxide than oxygen. So what will happen when it comes in contact with carbon monoxide, it will form a stable product called carbaminohemoglobin, due to which it will not carry oxygen anymore. And if you are remaining in that condition for a long period, you will die of suffocation. Your body will no more, your hemoglobins will be no more be able to carry oxygen, and they will form, due to which you will die of suffocation. Okay, oxygen will be there, but your body will not accept it because of the presence of carbon monoxide. Then hydrogen sulfide, blast furnaces, fumigation, chemical products, and metal plating. Affects nerve cell and vision, dry throats and headaches, injures vegetation. Then ammonia, produced from chemical processes, paper mills, cement, fertilizers, etc., explosives, respiratory disease and toxin, and they are toxic. Phosgens or carbonyl chlorides, chemical processes, dye making, cough, fatal pulmonary edema, then toxic at higher concentration. Then aldehyde, fat and glycerols, oil combustion, incomplete oxidation of fuels and lubricants, cause respiratory and eye problems, growth retardation, curling, and chlorosis. Chlorosis means the loss of chlorophyll from the leaf of the plants. Okay, they will become yellow and fall up. Then arsines, processes involving metal acids containing arsenic, damaging of RBC, affects kidney and causes jaundice. Then suspended particles are smog, soot, smoke, etc. All combustions, major industries, steel, paper, chemical, cement, all manufacturing processes. Okay, they causes asthma, heart disease, lungs problem, cancer, irritation, affects sleep characteristics, invisible injuries, then corrosion and leaching. Then lead from automobiles and smelting affects gastrointestinal and kidney, fertility and pregnancy and brain. And they are toxic to plants, lead, because it is a heavy metal. And white lead affects surfaces. Okay. Then ozone, combustion product plus sunlight is equal to ozone or smog. Respiratory irritations, that I have already told, ozone is irritating when we are inhale it. This is good for us in the higher atmosphere, but harmful to us in lower atmosphere. Aggravates asthma and other heart and lung problems. uh, premature aging, suppressed growth, leaf collapse, then fading, cracking, and weakening.
So,
Yes.
out of this thing, I want to know one thing, that why, in case of the patient where pacemaker is placed, they are
See, a
advised by the
pacemaker
doctors
is
to,
okay. Pacemaker
yes,
is
sir, they
has
are,
nothing to do. Yeah.
no, sir, here there is no connection maybe, but I want to know this thing,
Yes. Okay.
answer from you, sir,
See.
that why the
Okay. Okay.
doctors are
See.
advising them to not to
Okay.
wear the metal things.
Yes, yes, I'm telling. Actually, our heart has two natural pacemakers. Okay, we call it as SA node and AV node. Okay, see, when our heart is beating, when we sleep, it becomes slower because at that time we rest. But again, when we are working, it will again beat faster. During that time, that SA node and AV node they give electrical impulses and again fasten the beating of the heart. But in people, due to some problem, these two nodes become weak and they are not able to give that stimulation. So at that time, what we do, we feed an artificial battery, battery powered pacemaker. Okay, what it will do, it will give a electrical vibration which is given by SA node, same as SA node, and make the heart beat faster again. And this pacemaker is driven by a battery. Okay, and battery and they are also told not to keep the their mobile phone in their front pocket because it is connected to the outer part through a radio signal, and radio signal can easily get disrupted by metals and other electrical signals. Okay, that
So,
is why
but
those who
they
are
are
having, yeah.
so they are also advised by the doctor that not to wear the jewelry, ornaments, etc.
Yes, yes.
metallic.
Yes, because the impulses which are coming out of that pacemaker, okay, they will get disrupted when the presence of any metal thing. And
Sir,
if the
if
signal
they,
gets disrupted, the rhythm of the heart will not be set, and the person will die
oh, actually, sir, I
because that
want
is
to
not
know.
natural. It is an
Yes,
artificial thing which you are implanting on the heart. Yes.
yes, sir. Sir, I actually want to know this from you because one of my friend is suffering from this kind of problem, and doctor
Okay.
advised her not to wear that things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, sir.
Because
Thank you, sir.
the signals which are given by this artificial pacemaker can be easily disrupted using due to metals. So if any metal is present near the heart, means when you are wearing any necklace or anything, it is a metal which will be near your heart. Okay,
Uh,
and the signal will get disrupted due to which a heartbeat will not be rhythmic and may cause a severe heart attack. So it is better not to wear a jewelry and live longer. Okay.
yes, sir. For a doctor has advised not also in ring in finger and
Yes,
earrings
yes.
like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you
See,
for clearing
actually
my
what
doubts.
happens, yeah, what happens when you are wearing a ring also, during sleep, you may keep your hand on your chest. Then the metal comes
Yes,
in
sir.
contact.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
why no such metals should be allowed in your hands, in your ears, anywhere.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Okay, okay. So then photochemical smog. Smog is a combination of two words, smoke and fog. You can, if you want to practically see it, then it is the high time to go to Delhi. Winters are coming, you can see smog. Okay. It is basically in a form of air pollution in which atmosphere visibility is particularly obstructed by a haze consisting of a solid particulate liquid aerosol. It can be of two types, photochemical smog and coal-induced smog. Photochemical smog is formed in highly motorized area or metropolis cities, example Los Angeles, Delhi. See, I told you, Beijing. Okay, these cities, they form smog. It generally occurs under adverse conditions where air movement is restricted due to inversion of air layers. So when a place is surrounded by hills, okay, then there creates a condition called as inverted air layer where the air is not able to move. Then it causes this. Principal reason behind it is the formation of emission due to petroleum industries, automobiles and various industries, followed by sequence of photochemical reaction occurring under specific conditions. It is formed due to interaction of hydrocarbons with oxidants under influence of sunlight, giving rise to dangerous PAN or uh, peroxyacetyl nitrate. Its main constructions are NOx, PAN, hydrocarbons, CO, and O3. In India, national capital Delhi is one of the most air polluted city of the world and experience severe smog in winter months. Okay, that's what I told you. If you want to experience smog, then you can visit Delhi during this winter. And it is literally very hard to survive in that smog. You cannot breathe. You cannot see things. You cannot see the sun. This is the reaction, how nitrogen dioxide reacts with water to oxide plus 2OH, and then CH3CHO plus OH gives CH3CO and water, then CH3CO plus O2 gives CH3COOH acetyl peroxide, and CH3OH plus NO gives CH3COO NOx PAN. Okay, actually these are missing. I don't know why the numbers. You can get the numbers from internet also. Then acid rain. Rain in the form of precipitation. When water condenses to form clouds, various chemical species are incorporated into the cloud droplet and sometimes further transformed. Transformation takes place there only. So during precipitation, these accumulated chemical species take up by water droplets from air below the cloud and wash out on Earth's surface. Among these chemicals dissolved, carbon monoxide is a weak acid and hence its presence is considered as unpolluted atmosphere, where with pH 5.7, with precipitation is made acidic due to the presence of strong acids such as carbon monoxide aqueous, acid rain occurs. So acid deposition refers to the deposition of aqueous acids HNO3, so nitric acid, H2SO4, and the acidic gas sulfur dioxide and acidic salt ammonium sulfate on the Earth's surface. The principal component contributing to acid rain are ammonium nitrate and hydrogen sulfuric acid H2SO4, nitric acid HNO3, and sulfuric acid. So see, each time the rain which is coming, it is slightly acidic due to the presence of carbon, okay, which forms carbonic acid. Okay, but if there is a presence of nitric and sulfuric acid, then we call it as acid rain. Okay. This is how nitric acid is formed. NO2 plus OH plus M gives HNO3. M is the third body, and at night N2O2 plus H2O gives 2HNO3 also. Then sulfuric acid SO2 plus H2O gives H2SO4. That is why sulfuric acid and nitrogen oxide are harmful. Then meteorological factors influencing air quality. The science of meteorology has great bearing on air pollution. An air pollution problem involves three parts: the source, the movement of the pollutant, and the recipient. All meteorological phenomena are a result of interactions of the elemental properties of the atmosphere: heat, pressure, wind, and moisture. Thus, meteorological conditions directly influence the transport and dispersion of pollutants. So, wind is simply air in motion. We all know what is wind. So, the movement of air at the meso scale and micro scale level is of concern in control of air pollution. So, a study of air movement over relative small geographical region can help in understanding the movement of pollutants. In the upper layer, 200 m to 500 m above ground, and the wind speed reaches the maximum velocity. It is obvious important in precipitating pollution dispersion to know the direction and speed of the wind. So we know if wind is moving in some direction, okay, it will also take the pollutant with it in that direction. Then lapse rate, a parcel of air rising in the Earth's atmosphere, and if it does not absorb heat from its surroundings, it does not contain any moisture. It cools at a rate of 1 degree per 100-meter rise. This is known as dry abduction or lapse rate. Means if air has no moisture content, okay, so when it will go higher and higher, it will become cooler and cooler. Every 1 degree centigrade, the air will become cooler for every 100 meter you go up, because surface, when the air is near the surface, it gets heat up due to the heat of the surface. But when it is going away from the surface, it will become cooler and cooler. So this is known as dry abducted or lapse rate. So if the parcel moves down, it warms up at the same rate. So a super abducted lapse rate, also called a strong lapse rate, occurs when the atmospheric temperature drops more than 1 degree or 100 mm. So a sub-adiabatic rate, also called as weak lapse rate, is characterized by a drop of less than 1 degree per 100 meter. So a special case of weak lapse rate is the inversion, a condition which has warmer layer above colder air. So in this condition, what becomes, actually warmer air should be downward, but here warmer air is over the colder air. So during superabduction lapse rate, the atmospheric conditions are unstable. Stable atmosphere tends to accumulate the air pollutant, and unstable atmosphere tends to disperse the air pollutant at a fast rate. So inversion conditions are particular stable condition and keep the pollutant accumulated till the inversion perishes. But in real situation, the air parcel rising may contain moisture in it. So the moisture adiabatic lapse rate is usually less than DAR because of the condensation of the vapor into water or sublimation for a saturated parcel consequence. So latent heat is released into the parcel, reducing the adiabatic cooling, and the environmental lapse rate ELR is stated as the rate at which the air temperature surrounds the air parcel would change if we go upward in the atmosphere. So the environmental or ambient lapse rate is a vertical change in the temperature through still air. So the environmental lapse rate is not fixed and changes diurnally, daily and spatially. So the for Earth's surface with a latitude of 11 kilometers, the inversion lapse rate value of the US standard is minus 6.5 K per kilometer, 37.5 degrees Fahrenheit per 1000 K. So this is how your pollutant get mixed under different layer of the atmosphere and get dispersed. Then temperature and inversion. Atmospheric inversion occurs when the layers of air adjacent to the ground level cools down rapidly after sunset in winter months, or as the ground cools rapidly, but the layer above it does not cool and remains warm, resulting in inversion. So that is why in winters you will see smog, because there is an inversion. The ground cools faster and the air near the ground also cooler, but the air which is above the ground, it doesn't cool, due to which it is not able to move and it settles there. Okay. So temperature inversion leads to the stable atmosphere, and therefore very little turbulence or vertical mixing takes place. So the lapse rate becomes negative till a certain height. The accumulation of air contaminants prevents the sun rays to heat the ground and air adjacent to the ground. The fog is usually associated with the inversion since the temperature of the air at ground level remains below the dew point of the water vapor in the air. So inversion is an extreme sub-adiabatic condition, and thus the vertical air movement within the inversion is almost nil. So the two most common kinds of inversion are subsidence inversion and radiation inversion. Okay. This is how the air gets trapped. Okay. Then maximum mixing depth and maximum height. The dispersion of pollutants in the lower atmosphere is greatly aided by the convection and turbulent mixing that takes place. The vertical extent to which the mixing takes place depends on the environmental lapse rate, which varies diurnally for season to season and is also affected by topographical features. The depth of the conventional mixing layer in which vertical movement of the pollution is possible is called as maximum mixing depth or MMD, and urban air pollution episodes are known as to occur when MMD is 1500 m or less. The mixing height can be defined as the height above the ground to which related pollutants will spread through the action of atmospheric turbulence. Then rainfall, we all know what is rainfall, and helps in the wet deposition of the pollutant present in the air. Rainfall helps to reduce the pollution concentration in the atmosphere. It triggers the deposition of the particulate matter and henceforth is exclusion from the atmosphere to the ground. And it is helpful to reduce the concentration of the gaseous pollutants which are soluble in water, and they fall in the form of acids and everything. Relative humidity, RH is the ratio of the particular pressure of the water vapor or moisture to the equilibrium vapor pressure of the water at a given temperature. So the moisture content of atmosphere affects the corrosion rate of the air pollutant and shows the potential for the development of the fog. Then solar radiation. Solar radiation can influence the type and the rate of chemical reaction in the atmosphere. For example, formation of topographic ozone and photochemical smog depends on availability of the solar radiation because sun will provide the energy. Turbulence. We know what is a turbulence. This is the movement of the air within layer or around the layer. Okay. Rapid and irregular variation in both speed and direction of which specifies that the air flows have arbitrary motion which may eddies close the earth's surface as called as turbulence. First, turbulence are irregular motion of air in short distances. Turbulence flow has many eddies taking place in the region near the ground surface, and the degree of turbulence depends on many factors such as environmental, lapse rate, roughness of the surface, and the speed of the wind. There are two types of turbulence: thermal turbulence and mechanical turbulence. Thermal is due to heat and mechanical is due to mechanical forces. Okay. So when conventional thunderstorm are developed, latent heat is released at cloud height and this energy gives rise to upward and downward movement like large eddy type motion. These give rise to many smaller turbulence and various dimensions. Mechanical turbulence occurs near the earth's surface when the fast moving air passes over the rough ground surfaces. Due to the friction, small eddies develop and move up and down within the horizontal moving air. This turbulence easily develops when wind speed and ALR is high. Mechanical turbulence tends to lower over the open sea surface or smooth ground surface during light wind or calm condition and stable atmosphere. Then Gaussian-Plum's equation. Okay, the dispersion is responsible for the throughout mixing of the dilution and pollutant in the atmosphere. The dispersion is turned dependent upon the turbulent diffusion and bulk air flow. So many ideas have been put forth towards turbulence diffusion problem, and mathematical models have also been developed for quantitative prediction of the average concentration of the pollutant down from the source of emission. This quantitative information is vital for controlling air pollution and precise release limit for various pollution such that the ambient air quality can be maintained. So this is how our organizations or the organizations which are working on the what I can say protection of the environment set standard by using this equation. Okay, we call it as Gaussian model. Okay, so Cxyz is equal to Q by lambda into U and omega y and omega z into e to the power yz by xy x square, where C is the concentration of the pollutant at any point xyz. Xyz are the coordinates. Ey and Ez as the spreading coefficient, spreading the palm in y and z direction respectively, also known as standard deviations. U is the wind speed, y and z are the variables. Then monitoring of air quality. There are two ways to monitor air quality. Okay, we'll see it next class. Okay. How we monitor air quality. Okay, I will talk to them. Actually, two of my classes I have already missed due to some official work. I'll tell them to reschedule another two classes, maybe most probably Thursday, Friday and Saturday. Okay.
Sir, not 3 and 4 it is?
See, tomorrow is holiday. If you are
No, sir,
fine
not
and this,
tomorrow.
yeah, okay.
Day after
And
tomorrow, will
they
it be have
actually,
classes?
no, no, day after tomorrow I have a little work. There is a meeting which will be ending by 6, so it will not be possible for me to come and take the class. Okay. So
So,
I'll
sir,
tell
it will
them,
be 4 and 5,
yeah, it will be,
Friday and
I will,
Saturday.
they'll inform you, I think so. And let me talk to them tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, sir. Sir, will
So,
you send the notes
yeah,
tomorrow?
yeah, tomorrow I'll send the notes. Okay.
Okay,
That
sir.
note
Thank
and this
you.
note also I'll send.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Any doubts you can clarify now?
No, sir.
Okay. Good night
Sir,
to all. Yeah, yeah.
hello.
Yes.
Sir, one thing I want to ask you that why those they are diabetic, sugar
Yeah.
patients, and
Yeah.
why the danger is there for hampering every organ, internal organs like kidneys, heart, etc. Heart I can understand, sir, but in case of kidney, why they
See,
have
yeah, yeah. Because see, not only kidney, eyes will be hampered. If you are having a wound, it will be hampered. See, our body requires glucose. Okay, but
yes, sir.
only at a certain concentration. When it becomes more, it will start damaging the organ. Means see, kidney. The main function of kidney is filtration. Okay, it is meant for the filtering of urea. But when glucose comes, glucose is a bigger molecule. Okay, and our kidneys are not meant for purification of glucose. So when this glucose goes there, it will destroy the nephrons, which are actually the filtering units of our kidney. Same is with the retina. See, in wound healing, where if there is extra glucose sugar present in the blood, then the wound will not be healed easily. So diabetic patients, it takes them very long time to heal the wound, and their kidney get destroyed, their eyesight get destroyed, their joints get destroyed because too much of sugar in the blood is not good for us. That is why we have insulin, which regulates the blood sugar, because the sugar which is required, it is only required when we are taking food. After it has reached all the organs, it is not required anymore in the blood, and if it is present in the blood, it will cause all such problems to different parts. That is why a diabetic person's every organ start deteriorating if it is not taking control of the sugar, because a higher amount of sugar is deleterious to our body.
Yes, sir, because I am diabetic and I have this type of problem. But
Yeah, you should
recently,
check your diet. Your diet is a must. That
yes, sir,
is, see,
but
the
very
biggest.
fond of sweets.
See, you have to develop good fooding habits. Otherwise, it is very dangerous. Diabetes is
Sir,
very dangerous.
may I take sugar free in place
No,
of?
no, sugar free is also more dangerous than sugar. You know or not, but it is very. Avoid sugar at means sugar free and sugar also.
Actually, I
That is the
don't know
best way.
that, but I am facing this problem, and recently some swelling in my joints and knee problem
Then
has arise.
you should consult the doctor as soon as possible and go for a test of your fasting sugar and the normal sugar. If
Okay,
they are
sir.
not okay, then you, because in the initial stage, by taking pills and taking controlling the
Sir,
diet, it can be cured.
I am taking, sir, before and after lunch and glimepiride 2, etc. But
So you
thing
have
is
a
that
concerned doctor or just taking like that?
no, no, sir. I have consulted the doctor, but
Okay, then
as I am working, I cannot go always to the doctor, and now
so you
very
should
badly I am
find time
suffering this
for
problem.
yourself. That is arthritis also, and that also causes due to diabetes, and it is a problem in women always, arthritis, joint pain. Okay, it's a autoimmune disease.
Sir,
Okay,
if any
so
kidney problem is there,
yes,
and
yes, all
always
is due to diabetes.
itching occurs due to kidney problems.
Yes,
Itching
yes,
of the body can occur.
because
Sir, why?
yeah, uh, because the waste is not getting properly removed. So when waste is there, it will come out from the skin. Because after kidney, the other excretory organ or other excretory organ is skin, through which
Yes,
in the
yes,
form of sweat it will come out. And
yes.
when this waste is coming out, then it will cause itching. Because it must not come out through skin. It should be coming out through the kidneys. But when
Yes.
kidneys are malfunctioning, then it becomes a problem.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Sir, so
Okay.
there is every chance for multi-organ problem.
Yes, yes, you have to take care, good care of your diet. There is no other solution to it.
Okay, sir.
Just
Thank you.
forget about the sweets in the food
Yes,
and
sir.
carbohydrate. Forget about
Yes, sir.
carbohydrate.
Yes, sir.
You will be healthy, no issues. Okay?
Yes, sir. Namaste, sir.
Okay, namaste. Good
ସାର୍
night.
ଟିକେ
हाँ
ଉପରୁ
Night,
ସାର୍
sir. Thank you.
ଦୁଇଟା ପେଜ ପଛକୁ ଟିକେ ଯିବି ସାର୍ ଗୋଟେ କ'ଣ ଟର୍ମ ଡାଉଟ୍ ଥିଲେ ସାର୍
ହଁ ହଁ କୋଉଠିକି ଯିବି କହିଲ?
ଏବେ 34 ନମ୍ବର ପେଜରେ ଅଛି ନା ସାର୍ ଟିକେ ଉପରୁ ଯାଆନ୍ତୁ ସାର୍ ସେ ଟର୍ମ କ'ଣ ଗୋଟେ ବୁଝିପାରିଲେନି
ହଁ କୁହ।
ଆଉ ଆହୁରି ଉପରୁ ସାର୍ ଆହୁରି ଉପରୁ ସାର୍ ଆହୁରି ଉପରୁ ହଁ ହଁ ଆଉ ଟିକେ ସାର୍ ହଁ ନା ଏଇଟା ନାହିଁ
ଏଇଠି
ତା ଉପରଟା ସାର୍
ଆହୁରି ଉପରୁ ହଁ ଆଉ
ହଁ
ଉପରକୁ
ଇନଭର୍ସନ ଗୋଟେ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ସାର୍ ଆଉ ଉପର ଜିନିଷଟା ଦିଟା ସାର୍
କୋଉଟା କହିଲ ଇନଭର୍ସନ?
ଗୋଟେ ଟେମ୍ପରେଚର ଇନ୍ ଇନଭର୍ସନ ଆଉ ଉପର
ହଁ
ପାରାଗ୍ରାଫଟା ଯୋଉଟା ଥିଲା ଦୁଇଟା ସାର୍
ହଁ ହଁ ଗୋଟେ ହେଲା ଟେମ୍ପରେଚର ଇନଭର୍ସନ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ହେଲା ତମର ଲ୍ୟାବ୍
ଲାଷ୍ଟ
ରେଟ୍।
ରେଟ୍ ହଁ ୟେସ୍
ତ ଲ୍ୟାବ୍ ରେଟ୍ ହଉଛି କୋଉ ରେଟରେ ସେମାନେ କଣ କହିଲ ଯୋଉ ଏୟାର ଗୁଡା ଚେଞ୍ଜ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ନିଜ ନିଜ ପ୍ଲେସ୍ ହେଲା। ଯେ ଆଟମୋସ୍ଫିୟର ଏୟାର ଲେୟର ବାଇ ଲେୟର ଅଛନ୍ତି ଯେମିତି ମୁଁ କହିଲି ହେଲା ଗୋଟେ ତଳେ ଥଣ୍ଡା ଲେୟାର ଗୋଟେ ଉପର ଲେୟାର। ଓକେ ତ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଥଣ୍ଡା ଆଉ ମୁଁ ଯେମିତି କହିଲି ତଳ ଲେୟର ଗୁଡା ଗରମ ଥାନ୍ତି ଯେତେବେଳେ ଖରା ହଉଥାଏ କାହିଁକି ନା ହିଟ୍ ହେଇକି ଥାଏ ଯୋଉଥିପାଇଁ ଏୟାର ହିଟ୍ ହେଇଯାଏ କିନ୍ତୁ ଯେତେ ଆମେ ଉପରକୁ ଯିବୁ ଦେଖିବା ସେତେ ଥଣ୍ଡା ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ପାହାଡ ଗୁଡାରେ ଥଣ୍ଡା ଥାଏ ଖରା ଦିନେ ବି କାହିଁକିନା ସେମାନେ ଏତେ ଉଞ୍ଚାରେ ଅଛନ୍ତି ତ ସେଠି ପବନଟା ହିଁ ଥଣ୍ଡା ହେଇଯାଏ। ଓକେ ତ ଲାଷ୍ଟ ରେଟ୍ ହଉଛି ଯୋଉ ଗୋଟେ ଯୋଉ ଏ ଯୋଉ ଲେୟାର ବାଇ ଲେୟାର ହେଲା ତ କଣ ହଉଛି ଗରମ ଥଣ୍ଡା ଥଣ୍ଡା ହେଇଯାଉଛି
ହଁ
ହେଲା
ସାର୍
କିନ୍ତୁ ଏ ଗରମ ଲେୟାର ଟା କଣ ହବ ନା ପୁଣି ଉପରକୁ ପଳେଇବ କାହିଁକି ଯେତେ ଗରମ ହେଲା ସେ ଡ୍ରାଏ ହେଇଗଲେ ସେ ଉପରକୁ ପଳେଇବ ହେଲା କୋଉ ରେଟ୍ ରେ ଗରମ ଏୟାର ଉପରକୁ ଯିବ ଆଉ ଉପର ଏୟାର ତଳକୁ ଆସିବ ସେଇଟା ହଉଛି ଲାଷ୍ଟ ରେଟ୍।
ଓକେ ଓକେ
ଯେମିତି ଗୋଟେ ଯେମିତି ଆମର ରେସିଂ ରେ ଥାଏ ଲ୍ୟାପ୍ 1 ଲ୍ୟାପ୍ 2 ସେ ଯୋଉ F1 ରେସିଂ ରେ ହୁଏ
ଓକେ ସାର୍ ଓକେ
ହଁ ତ ସେମିତି ଗରମ ଏୟାର ଗଲା ଉପରକୁ ପୁଣି ଥଣ୍ଡା ହେଇକି ଫେରିବ ସେଇଟା ହଉଛି ତାଙ୍କ ଲ୍ୟାପ୍ କେତେ ଲ୍ୟାପ୍ ରେ ଫେରିଲେ କେତେ ଟାଇମ୍ ସେଇଟା ହଉଛି ଲ୍ୟାପ୍ ସ୍ପେସ୍।
ସାର୍ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଏ ଯୋଉ 100 ମିଟରରେ
ହଁ
1 ଡିଗ୍ରୀ ଲେଖିଛି ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି
ହଁ
163 ମିଟରରେ 1 ଡିଗ୍ରୀ କମ ହଉଥିଲା ନା ସାର୍
ହଁ ସେଇଟା ଶୁଣ ଜାଗାରେ ଜାଗା ଭ୍ୟାରି କରେ ହେଲା ଏଇଟା ଯିଏ ଲେଖିଛନ୍ତି ସେ 100 ଲେଖିଛନ୍ତି ଆଉ ସେଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ବଡ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର ନୁହଁ 60-40 ଖଣ୍ଡେ ମିଟର ହେଲେ ଆଟମୋସ୍ଫିୟରରେ କିଛି ବଡ କଥା ନୁହଁ।
ଓକେ
ଏମିତି ବି ଜାଗା ଅଛି ଧର ଆମେ ହିମାଳୟ ହେରିକା ପାଖକୁ ପଳେଇବୁ ସେଠି ତ 50-50 ମିଟରରେ 1 ଡିଗ୍ରୀ କମିଯିବ
ହଁ ସାର୍
ହେଲା ତ ସେଇଟା ତ ମାନେ ଜାଗାରୁ ଜାଗା ଭ୍ୟାରି କରେ। ରାଜସ୍ଥାନ ଯିବ ଭାରି ସେ ତ 150-200 ବି 1 ଡିଗ୍ରୀ କମିବନି
ହଁ ସାର୍
ବୁଝୁଛ କି ନାଇଁ ତ ସେଇଟା ତ ପ୍ଲେସ୍ ଟୁ ପ୍ଲେସ୍ ଭ୍ୟାରି କରେ ସେଇଟା କିଛି ବଡ 163 ହେଇପାରିବ 100 ହେଇପାରିବ କୋଉଠି 200 ବି ହେଇପାରିବ ଆଉ କୋଉଠି 50 ବି ହେଇପାରିବ
ଓକେ ସାର୍
ହେଲା। ହଁ
ନେକ୍ସଟ ଏଟା କ'ଣ ସାର୍ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଥିଲା ଲାପ୍ସ ରେଟ୍ ହେଲା ତା ତଳେ ସାର୍
ହଁ ତା ତଳଟା ହଉଛି ତମର ଏଇଟା
ଇନଭର୍ସନ
ଟେମ୍ପରେଚର ଇନଭର୍ସନ ସେଇଟା ଏଇଟା ଲାଷ୍ଟ ହେଲା କେମିତି ଯାଇକି ଆସିଲା ଟେମ୍ପରେଚର ଇନଭର୍ସନ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ମୁଁ ଯୋଉ କହିଲି ଟେମ୍ପରେଚର ଫ୍ଲକ୍ଚୁଏଟ୍ କିନ୍ତୁ ବେଳେ ବେଳେ କଣ ହୁଏ ନା ହଁ ବେଳେ ବେଳେ ଶୀତ ଦିନେ କଣ ହବ ନା ଗରମ ଥିବ ଏୟାର ହେଲା ଉପରକୁ ଗରମ ହେଇଯାଇଛି ୟୁନିଫର୍ମଲି ତଳ ଏୟାର ଟା ଧଡକିନା ଥଣ୍ଡା ହେଇଯିବ କାହିଁକି କହିଲ ତଳଟା ରାତି ହେଇଗଲା ସାଙ୍ଗେ ସାଙ୍ଗେ ଥଣ୍ଡା ହେଇଗଲା ପୃଥିବୀ ଯେତେ ଜଲ୍ଦି ଗରମ ହବ ସେତେ ଜଲ୍ଦି ଥଣ୍ଡା ବି ହେଇଯାଏ ହେଲା ଥଣ୍ଡା ହେଲା ପରେ କଣ ହବ ଉପରେ ଗରମ ଏୟାର ଥିବ ତଳେ ରହିଯିବ ଥଣ୍ଡା ଏୟାର
ଓକେ ସାର୍ ଓକେ
ତ ଏମିତି ହେଇଗଲେ କଣ ହବ ଆଉ ମୁଭମେଣ୍ଟ ହବନି ସେଇଟା ଦେଖିବ ଶୀତ ଦିନେ ଆମର ବେଶୀ ଦେଖିବ ପବନ ହବାର ଏ ଖରାଦିନେ ବେଶୀ ପବନ ହୁଏ ବାତ୍ୟା ହରିକା ସବୁ ବର୍ଷା ଦିନେ ହୁଏ ଶୀତ ଦିନେ ଦେଖିବ କିଛି ନାହିଁ ସବୁଆଡେ ପୁରା ଚୁପଚାପ ପୁରା ଥଣ୍ଡା କାହିଁକି କହିଲ
ହଁ
ତଳ ଥଣ୍ଡା ହେଇଗଲା ତ
ହଁ
ଯୋଉଥିପାଇଁ କି ଆଉ ଏୟାର ଭିତରେ ମୁଭମେଣ୍ଟ ହଉନି ତଳେ ଯେହେତୁ ଗରମ ଥିଲା ସେ ଉପରକୁ ଯିବାକୁ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରୁଥିଲା ବୋଲି ସେ ମୁଭମେଣ୍ଟ ହଉଥିଲା। ଏବେ ତଳଟା ହିଁ ଥଣ୍ଡା ପଡିଗଲା, ଉପରେ ତ ଗରମ ଅଛି, ତଳେ ଥଣ୍ଡା ଅଛି, ସେ କାହିଁ ମୁଭମେଣ୍ଟ ହବ ଆଉ? ହେଲା, that becomes inversion।
ठीक है सर, थैंक यू।
ବୁଝିଲା? ହଉ ଠିକ ଅଛି। ଆଉ କାହାର ଡାଉଟ୍ ଅଛି? ଆଉ ମୁଁ କାଲି ପଠେଇଦେବି ଏଇଗୁଡା ଆଉ, ଠିକ ଅଛି।
ओके
ओके सर,
ଅଜିତ
नमस्कार।
ତମେ ବୋଧେ ମତେ ପଠେଇଛ ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ସଆପ ରେ?
हाँ सर ସେଇଟା ପଠେଇଥିଲି ମୁଁ ସर।
ହଁ ମୁଁ ପଠେଇଦେବି, ମୁଁ ତମକୁ ପଠେଇଦେବି, କାଲି ଦିଟାକୁ ପଠେଇ ଦଉଛି, ଠିକ ଅଛି।
ठीक है
ହଉ
सर, ମତେ ପିପିଟି
ଓ
ଆସିଲେ ମୁଁ ଗ୍ରୁପରେ ପଠେଇଦେବି।
ହଁ ହଁ ଠିକ ଅଛି।
ओके सर,
ओके चलो, गुड नाइट टू ऑल।
गुड
गुड
नाइट
नाइट।
सर।
गुड नाइट। ଆଉ ଅଜିତ ମୁଁ ତମକୁ ଜଣେଇବି ଦେବି, ଆଉ କହିଲେଣି, ହଉ ଠିକ ଅଛି। କେବେ ନେକ୍ସଟ କ୍ଲାସ
ओके
ଅଛି
सर।
ମୋର?
ओके
ओके।
सर।